What should you do before writing a book? Now, there's two thoughts on this because sometimes a story just comes to you. Famously, J.K. Rowling had the idea for Harry Potter on a train, didn't have any writing implements, so she had to store it all in her head until she got off and then wrote it all that way. But often what happens, non-fiction, this is particularly true, is you have an idea and then you think, how do I get that idea out of my head? And I find if you're going to do that, a big pad works really, really well. And this is actually something that I did 5 years ago, more than 5 years ago, when I wrote my second book, How to Seduce Your Wife. And I just planned it all out, and I had all these ideas. This was actually how to get the book out to market, but it's the same principle. So you would have a great big pad, you get your coloured pens out, and you start to think about chapter headings, for example. So if you're writing a book on how to be a master fence builder, like I know nothing about that, you would think about what types of wood you might use. You might think about the type of post you'd use, what sort of cement you would use, what sort of ground would be the best, what you would have to do to prepare the ground. And as you start to think about that, you start to think of the chapter headings. And once you've thought of the chapter headings, then you can think of the way it all fits together, and you just fill in the bits. So really, so you have a framework and then build it that way. But I find big pads, I mean, I get these from the range, and they're about £9, I think, and absolutely invaluable for me, who's quite a visual person, to plan it all out on a big pad. So you have a plan, so you don't get lost in the narrative, which happens sometimes because you start off with all this enthusiasm, and then about halfway through you think, I don't know where this is going. And then also you have to think about who's going to read your book. So often I will say, well, you know, exactly that question, who's going to read your book? I'll ask an author and I go, well, you know, anybody could. And that's not true. So the person who wants to read about being a master fence builder is not going to be the person who wants to be great at making cakes or likes Mills and Boon type stories. They're going to be different types of reader. So think about your reader, think about the plan, get a big pad, fill it all in that way. And that's the way I would approach writing a book to get it going.